What is up, guys? Welcome back to the shop, and today we're going to have a nice, good, thorough update about the Fokker D.VIII. So let's get digging right in. Okay, so first and foremost, I realized two things. Number one, I'm wearing the exact same shirt as the last update on this airplane. So even though they're 2 months apart, that's the other thing. It's been 2 months since my last update on this project. So it's high time that I do a proper update here. So let's get right into it. And we'll start just by looking at the beautiful fuselage. So we got a number of things going on here. There's some optical illusions going on because of geometry. So let me explain what's going on here. So there is a turtle deck that has a corner seam right along here. Okay, so this is round, this is flat. All right, flat like this, horizontal stabilizer with the elevator, and they're tied together through a nice hard piece of bass. I've got reinforcements with 1/64 inch ply, as well as a plate for my elevator control horn. In addition to that, we have our side cheeks. Again, doing some foam molding here. I had to get the struts glassed first in order to get this cheek on because you can't remove this once the cheek is on. So there you go. I used more 1/64 inch ply to reinforce this hole because obviously there's going to be some play here, especially as you install and uninstall the wing. But everything is looking pretty dang straight as far as I can tell, and we're moving right along. A couple of other things we've got going on here. I forgot to mention last time that I had made a battery tray, and so now I've got servos in, well, a servo in here. I've got the rudder servo, and that goes all the way back to a pull line as well. And the reason that you see the H-dab coming off is because it's not final in there. It's not. So what I actually need to do is fiberglass the entire fuselage. So again, the hinges on the rudder, those are not permanently installed because I need to glass everything. I basically finished everything with the fuselage at this point. There is an additional foam fillet I want to do here because it's just a little too angular here. I want to blend this a little bit more. The shape's not quite right. Just, you know, little things. You can see there's a battery hatch here. There is a servo in here. There's a number of reasons that I chose to do that. Okay, so this is for the elevator servo. Now I could have done a pull there as well, but it's complicated. So the pull, let me put the H-dab back. So the pull lines on the Fokker D.VIII would have to come up, so in from the fuselage up and to here. Okay, so then the pull lines would basically run with the fuselage all the way down. So the size of the fuselage would have to be where it would be routed, or use a pulley system to route it down and under the floor of the cockpit. Okay, we do have a dummy that's going to go in this cockpit, but yeah, for the most part, I want to keep these pull lines out of the way. So I went through and I factored in, okay, so 2 sets of pull lines, because you've got to have a top and a bottom and a left and a right, and that's all got to go through the fuselage, and then like a pulley, and this, just adding up the hardware was crazy. All the different parts and all the different pieces, and I'm like, this has got to weigh as much as a servo and a short control rod. Because again, a short control rod is really the ideal here because it's a big airplane and you want your control throw short. But again, the trade-off is weight. These airplanes are really tail sensitive, so any weight you put in the tail, you have to offset in the front. Now, given that they're about the same amount of weight in terms of the pull, all the pull stuff and the paraphernalia, and it's just so complex. And I decided to go away with that. That's not the point of this airplane. I had to rein myself in and say, this is not a scale competition airplane. I don't compete anyway. This is not something, this is just a demonstration of what you can build with dollar store foam board. And this is all dollar store foam board. Dollar store foam board. The only thing that's not are these green formers. Okay? Everything else is foam board, except for the wood hard points, obviously. But how many formers are here? Oh, 1, 2. This quarter scale airplane is mostly foam board. Okay, I can't drive that home enough because it is really cool that this is quarter scale. And I'm having a lot of fun in the hours here and there that I can actually get done on this project. So, what's next? So the bulk of the building is actually done. The only thing left to actually build is the cowl. So there's a lot of sculpting involved in the cowl. So really it's like a matter of sandwiching pieces of foam and then carving it. And I'll probably use my, my rasping files for that. So I'll get more on that later, but I wanted to go over what I've done because again, I've only had like bits and pieces of time here and there. Not great for doing videos. So these updates are really the best I can do. I mean, the side cheeks turned out as best as I think they possibly could. For those who are familiar enough with the airplane know that it's a little bit of cheating going on here with the geometry, but you get the point. The cockpit hole I'm pretty happy about. It's nice and center. There's not a whole lot of warping in the foam. But again, there's like some geometry that's like kind of deceiving, like this line here where it goes up a little bit. It may look like this is dipped in. It's really not all that much. I mean, as far as foam goes, it's really not, considering like you push this and it dents. I mean, again, this is dollar store foam board. Okay, it's soft. It's soft. It will stiffen up a little bit more as I put glass on it, but that's kind of the point, right? So you build light and you cover it after the fact, because then after you get your compound curves and all the complex stuff out of the way, then you make it tough again. All right, so with that, what's really next is just to glass everything as much as I can so I can finally start assembling stuff. So it's tricky, right? I've got to assemble all of the tail, right? So once I get the fuselage glassed, then I can start assembling the tail. Once the landing gear is glassed, I can put the landing gear on for the final time. And that's really where I'll be able to finally get the nose buttoned up. There's a couple of tricky things that I've got to do with the struts. Okay, number one, these struts, it's just foam board here. And that's 1 centimeter wide, right? And then I used Gorilla Glue and tape to Gorilla Glue it to the metal strut. And that's, I tried epoxy, I tried foam safe CA, and that was the only thing I could get to actually stick. And then the glass around it helps smooth it out, but also helps keep it adhered through like flexing and stuff. Because that stuff, it's not going to stay on forever. But I'm doing the best I can. Anyway. So I got to do one tricky bit with probably the leading strut here, because if you remember back a ways, I have to run servo wire up those struts because I got 2 servos in the wings. So I've got to figure out how to conceal those wires, because that's going to bug me. That's one of the things, little things that I can do that it's not going to bug me too much, but I think I've got something up my sleeve that's going to work. After that, really need to focus on the wing. So the wing needs final sand down, but I've got to do spackle first. Okay, there's some rough spots that I need to hit up first. It's not, since it's got a whole bunch of compound curves on it, you have to hit it with spackle first, otherwise it's going to look horrible. So the leading edge, number one, because remember we shaped that to with a file, and then the wing tips as well. And then there's one piece that's gotten damaged since, you know, things move around in the shop and whatnot. Anyway, so I've got to do the spackle, sand back the spackle, then do the glass work there. But we're close. Okay, there's only one wing, so we only got to do it once. But it's big. It's a lot of surface area. So the spackle that I use, I used to use DAP, but DAP has now gone to this stuff with like latex in it, and it shrinks and it's rubbery and it sucks for sanding. So now what I'm using is 3M. Used to be able to get it at like Walmart. Can't really anymore. I had to get this through online and get it shipped. You could probably find it at like a home improvement store, but I haven't seen anything. Again, supply issues right now. It's kind of a nightmare. So it's what I'm using right now. 3M has changed their formula 2 or 3 times since I went to 3M a couple of years ago. So keep that in mind if you're watching this, you know, 2 or 3 years in the future. Just saying. Anyway, yeah, so that's really it. Aside from the making the cowl, we're really on to finish work, which just takes the ugly T word. So that's all the updates that I have today. I'm glad you guys tuned in. I hope you are gonna be having a fantastic holiday, and I think I have an idea for a holiday video. I did my vacuum forming one last year. I have an idea, but again, new job. This new job is, whoo, weird hours, weird experiments. It's fun. I'm a scientist, in case you didn't know. Anyway, so until next time, guys, keep working on those flying works of art.